On today's Smart 7, Budget Day falls flat, Nikki Haley drops out of US presidential race, and much more. It's Thursday, 7th of March, it's Flapjack Day, and happy birthday, Bryan Cranston.
The Smart 7. It's news, but
not the news.
Wednesday saw Chancellor Jeremy Hunt's second official budget, which claimed to reduce taxes but actually increased the tax burden on households. A 2p reduction in national insurance, plus an increase in child benefit and a continued freeze on fuel duty all looked like good news. However, despite a theoretical £14 billion giveaway, the tax burden remains at the highest level since 1948. There were also plenty of warning signs about future spending cuts should the Tories win the next election. Chancellor Hunt worked in a few jokes as tradition demands, including a reference to his own sweary Education Secretary, Gillian Keegan. His dig at Keir Starmer, though, landed somewhat awkwardly.
I know he's been taking advice from Lord Mandelson, who rather uncharitably said he needed to shed a few pounds. Ordinary families will shed more than a few pounds if that lot get in.
The biggest change came with the scrapping of the so-called non-dom tax rules, something Mrs Sunak used to take advantage of. Taxing non-doms has been a long-time Labour policy, and Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer was none too impressed by Hunt borrowing it.
Take the desperate move, after years of resistance, to finally accept Labour's argument on the non-dom tax regime. Has there ever been a more obvious example of a government that is totally bereft of ideas?
Even on Budget Day, things were tense at Prime Minister's Question Time, particularly when Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer focused on policing and violence against women. This Friday's International Women's Day, and this week is also the third anniversary of the murder of Sarah Everard by serving police officer Wayne Couzens. Starmer had brought the Home Office commissioned report into the killing with him and wanted to know why no action had been taken to properly tighten loopholes in the Met Police's procedures in the 3 years since the murder.
Lady Angelina's report exposes the appalling failure in police vetting, and I'm very troubled by its conclusion that there is nothing to stop another Couzens operating in plain sight.
The Prime Minister said that his government is working on a detailed response to the report, but also took the opportunity to hit back at the Labour leader with a jibe about his time as the head of the Crown Prosecution Services that has already been debunked as untrue.
The Honourable Gentleman did raise his time at the Crown Prosecution Service, but he hasn't acknowledged that under his tenure, rape convictions actually dropped.
Well, the Prime Minister knows that is going to be fact-checked.
Russia came close to causing a major diplomatic incident on Wednesday as Ukrainian President Zelensky and Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis were very nearly struck by a missile in Odessa. They'd been hosting a press conference in the port city after Russian drone attacks had killed several people, but during the event, another missile hit about 200 metres away, killing several more. Meanwhile, the UK has been trying to crank up pressure on European allies, floating the idea of loaning frozen Russian assets to Ukraine on the basis that they will be awarded as war reparations eventually. But German ambassador to the UK, Miguel Berger, was still urging caution as Germany reels from a military conference call which was intercepted and leaked by Russia.
Currently, the big focus should be on ammunition. That is what Ukraine really needs. But the Chancellor wants to be sure that whatever we do, there is no escalation which could lead then to consequences we all don't want to see.
Donald Trump's been having a good week for once. He had a Supreme Court decision in his favour on Monday, an almost clean sweep of primaries on Tuesday, and then best news of all, his last remaining opponent for the Republican nomination dropped out of the race. Former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley had made history as the first woman to win a Republican primary, and she won a second in Vermont on Tuesday, but it wasn't enough to keep her campaign alive. She officially suspended her campaign, then called on Donald to earn the support of her voters and stopped short of endorsing him.
I am filled with the gratitude for the outpouring of support we've received from all across our great country. But the time has now come to suspend my campaign. I have no regrets.
Still to come on today's Smart 7, City cruise to Champions League quarter-finals and Axe picks up his axe. Right after this.
Botox Cosmetic, out of botulinum toxin A, FDA approved for over 20 years. So, talk to your specialist to see if Botox Cosmetic is right for you.
For full prescribing information, including boxed warning, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
Remember to ask for Botox Cosmetic by name. To see for yourself and learn more, visit BotoxCosmetic.com. That's BotoxCosmetic.com.
Welcome back.
Wednesday night saw more Champions League action as Man City welcomed FC Copenhagen to the Etihad. The other match in the last 16 saw Real Madrid face RB Leipzig, with the Spanish holding a narrow 1-0 advantage from the first leg. The game in Spain ended 1-1, but Madrid's first leg goal saw them go through 2-1 on aggregate. Man City were 3-1 up from their first leg and keen to secure their place in the quarter-finals, and they did so with another 3-1 win over the Danes to go through 6-2 on aggregate. Erling Haaland got the third goal and manager Pep Guardiola was happy with his team's performance.
This game is just who scored first, and we were lucky to do it early with the corner and after with Julian, and yeah, next round. So, and still we are there in this competition.
You probably know him either as Brody from Homelands or as Axe from Billions, but he's really British actor and musician Damian Lewis, and at the moment he's all about the musician part of his repertoire as he heads off on a sold-out 8-date tour across the UK to promote his new album called Mission Creep. He's no stranger to performing though, as he explained when he popped up on Good Morning Britain to chat about his busking past.
I used to make about €30 an hour. I had a motorbike, so I would take my motorbike in my tent and I would go to Paris first, and I'd set up outside the Pompidou by the fountains.
You didn't get moved on there?
Not in those days.
Oh,
it was all right. You didn't need licenses. You know, they let anyone play.
There's a new series on the way from Apple TV Plus, which may not be quite what it seems. It's called Sugar and stars Colin Farrell as a private detective who specialises in finding missing persons. But Apple are describing it as a genre-bending show, and with creator Simon Kinberg, who created Invasion and produced several X-Men movies including Thor on board, it seems like there's more going on than meets the eye. It's an 8-part series, also exec-produced by Farrell and co-starring Kirby Howell-Baptiste and Amy Ryan. The first 2 episodes drop on April 5th.
Are you following me, John Sugar?
I need your help.
There's more to you than meets the eye.
Is there?
You have secrets.
Not now. I can't stop. She's out there somewhere.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Spin your passion into a business with Shopify and break sales records with the world's best converting checkout. Let's hear that one more time. The world's best converting checkout. Shopify's legendary checkout makes it easier for customers to shop on your website, across social media, and everywhere in between. Now that's music to your ears. Any way you spin it, you can be a smash hit with Shopify. Start your $1 a month trial today at shopify.com/records.